Hello guys, this is Davor from Tennis Haus. I'm with Peter here, the product manager at Asics. Peter, thank you for doing the interview with me.
Thank you for being here, yeah.
And Peter is in charge of all the products. So, Asics is famous for the shoes. So I want to start with the shoes,
Yeah,
Peter.
let's start there.
Tell me quickly how you got into the side of Asics.
By coincidence, to be really honest, I was working in a store. The store closed quite suddenly. There was a job opening at Asics. I signed up there. I started in the store and then started there by coincidence. And then eventually there was an opening in our head office and I went to our head office. So a lot of coincidence actually that got me here. But over the last years, we've been really focusing on tennis and developing that side of the business and working together with the team. Well, you've met a lot of them here,
yes.
But a lot of them work together to really develop it. And we grew tennis into the second priority sport for us. So we're a running brand and we really want to be a tennis brand. And that's something that, it grew into, but it started all coincidence.
Wow. So we are here in Paris and maybe you can tell my followers just a little bit about yesterday, so about the event, and I was still blown away how well Asics organized it. So
thank you. Yeah.
Congratulations to everyone from the top to the bottom. It was amazing.
So this year is a very special year in Paris in general with the Olympics, and we have a very special partnership with the city of Paris. So that allowed us to do some things that normally are not able to do. So we hosted an event on Place de la République, which is a big square, but it is basically for the people, and it's not necessarily something you can book to do events. Normally it's just a little tent and that's what it is. So because of this partnership with Paris, we were able to do something really incredible. And the reason why we did that is because we know that 1 in 4 people suffer in Paris from mental health issues. And I think that is not only in Paris. I think this is something that we all face in the world. So we wanted to do something for the Parisians. And the reason why is that in previous research we knew if you play sports for 15 minutes, you feel a mental uplift. You feel actually a little bit better and a little bit more happy. And sometimes I think we all think like, when do I work out? But I also think everybody's at least 15 minutes on their phone, just scrolling, just realizing that 15 minutes can actually bring you a mental uplift. So we wanted to do all these things, bring it together. And we invited everyday Parisians to come and play for 15 minutes or a little bit to just feel like, okay, I did something good. I feel a little bit better, and just focus on the positive benefits of sport on the mental well-being.
Yeah. So as you know, the mental part and the body exercise go hand in hand, obviously. And I 100% with that, and I love that we did that. And I had the chance. I was lucky to go on court. You got me on there with Berrettini. That was fun with Chorich and with Diminor. And as I said, everyone got to play, super well organized. I really love that. Ons Jabeur was there. All the tennis players, they know how important the mental health is, so they support. And the big Asics family. So. Again, I'm super honored that I could participate in that. So that was very successful.
I'm very happy you were there. Yeah.
Thank you. So, all right, talking about the shoes. So I know a lot of my followers are going to be interested in that. How we get to this Novak shoe in the end. How do you get this this is not the end product, but how do you get the end product? How involved are players like Novak in the development of the shoe? Since you're a specialist, so I'm excited to hear that.
Yeah, so it depends from player to player, but of course with Novak Djokovic we work on the Court FF3 Novak, so that's his not his personal shoe, but it's a shoe we developed with him. And in that case of Novak, he was very, very, very involved with the entire process, and it's something that is quite incredible actually, is the amount of knowledge and attention to detail, but also the understanding that he has of the product itself. So we've spent 3 years with him developing this shoe, and we actually made over 15 different prototypes over the 3 years to test a variety of things. So this specific shoe that is here is actually one of the prototypes that he was wearing and he was testing, and this was one of the tests that we did to figure out the right balance between the flexibility and stiffness in the midsole part. So we have here this trustic part. It's in 2 colors, and Novak told us he likes it when it's super flexible. Then we were thinking like, okay, why does he like it? He's extremely flexible as a person. What we know from our own research is that a really flexible shoe gives a higher chance of injuries. So then we go a little bit in a battle between, are we going with a really stiff midsole or are we going with a really flexible midsole? So what we've done in this specific case, you can see that it has the letter E on it. So we had A to E different samples. They were all lined up. E was the stiffest and A was the most flexible, or the other way around. And then he started with one, he played on it and he said, no, this is too stiff. And then he's this one, that's too flexible. And then we eventually came to a balance where we felt comfortable that it was like giving enough support for him to play 5 sets, but also for him to feel good to play 5 sets and really rely on that dynamic and flexibility movements from him in a 5th set as well. So that was one of the tests, and this one, maybe you can cut that in later. But here we actually cut out midsole foam.
Okay.
So he was telling us when we were testing that he felt that the heel was a bit bulky and a bit heavy. So we had someone with a special tool. It's like a knife, and he was just scraping out layers here. And then he took one layer off. He was testing it. Now still a bit heavy. We took another layer off. It was still a bit heavy. So we were adjusting that all the way until the point where he says, okay, now I feel like the heel is in the right the right shape, the right form, the right weight. But I can tell you, taking a layer off of foam is probably 2-3 grams. He is able to tell us exactly what the difference is between these 3 grams. And that is something that is really, really incredible and really an joy and honor to work with someone like that is so detailed and so focused on these things. So you can see here as well, here is also a little bit taken off. Here they took off a little bit. So in the end, he was just telling us a little bit like, oh, it feels a bit here and there. And then we had a team of specialists there that are able to make some slight modifications. And we also have weights that we can put on to make it a bit heavier. And we have all these like little tools that we can do to find out what is the best balance. So then out of those 5-6 samples, he picks the best one. Then we make it into like a real version and then we test again. Okay, now we know the perfect balance in the midsole. What if we now test the heel? So then we go into the next one. So now we know his favorite midsole. Now we're testing 6 different heel types. And then he's giving us feedback. And then so you construct piece by piece the shoe together. That's very unique to him. Other players, if you think of the Solution Speed, for example, that we introduced this year, that is a bit more generic. So we were with Alex de Minaur, for example, and we tested 2 times with him. But then also it's a bit more of a generic shoe, so it needs to appeal more players. So then we test a little bit different.
And I have a question about that. The shoe is super light. So I like it personally, right? When I'm on clay court, I love them. And how, there's probably a fine line, right? You don't want to have them too light because, you know, you can, especially on clay, you can, you know, twist your ankle easy. So how do you find the balance? You know, like I feel like they're perfectly balanced. I never feel like I'm gonna twist my ankle or anything. So how did you guys get to that a little?
So everything we do goes through what we call the Asics design philosophy. So there's 3 pillars in the Asics design philosophy that we really focus on. And one of them is athlete insight. So we listen to athletes and we listen to them exactly to that balance, right? Where they say like, look, in this version that I have now, I feel like it can lose a little bit weight that make me even faster. Or they say like, oh, I would like to have a little bit more stability in the heel, for example. So athlete insights are really important. Then the second pillar is our Japanese craftsmanship. So if you think of Japan, you think of like high technology and attention to detail, and you think of like the way they construct certain things. So, okay, now we have the insight from the athlete. We have amazing designers for footwear in Japan. They are starting to put these things together. They design. And then the third pillar is our Institute of Sports Science. That's a big center that we have in Kobe, Japan, which is a place where we can analyze through data if the things actually do what we think they do. So there are no designers, no product managers, it's all scientists, people that studied the human body. So what they do is they really analyze then to see if our insights that we got together with our Japanese craftsmanship really make sense, and we can prove that. One of my favorite things in the Japanese culture is the Kaizen philosophy. And Kaizen means continuous improvement. We always believe it can be a little bit better. So the gel resolution 9 is a little bit better than the gel resolution 8. And that's a great philosophy, but we can prove that through ISS. So when you put these 3 pillars together, then you can find the right balance between, okay, is it stable enough and flexible enough? Because it's really hard to make both a stable and flexible shoe. Those are basically opposite sides of the spectrum. So where's that balance again? And also the knowledge of Novak Djokovic definitely will come back in other shoes as well. So now we know a bit of that balance. So that is something we can then apply in other products.